Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It's a scene for Empire of Thorns. Claudio Donati has it's become apparent in the past few days that although he is the High Circe and a vital member to the Spring Court, in his trying to cover for some of the king's shortcomings, he's very much neglected his social life. It's something that appears to he just wants to correct. Well, he met a young woman that reminds him of a different time, reminds him of something. And he asked her to lunch. Uh, he and her pick a place in the hedge as they're both very much market and hob people to meet. And so that is where our scene is set. So Donati is making his way towards the cafe.
And Iris will also her way to the cafe.
Okay.
And I'm going to assume that she's brought some embroidered bookmarks or something.
Okay.
And half out.
He has he's gotten to the point where he doesn't need to have his arms slung up anymore. Uh, the the wound that was to his arm has healed up enough, but he still has his hand tucked in his pocket. Um, but he's a lot more relaxed today than she's normally seen him. Very often he has an air about him of just being kind of very guarded and kind of tense. Well, it's less a passive tension and more of an aggressive tension. Um, but he seems kind of more at ease today. So he'll walk up to Iris, give her a soft smile, very kin to the one in his picture, and he'll say, "Hi."
Hello.
Was it hard to find? Oh, wait,
Would
you
you
suggested
like
it.
some pie?
He'll nod, and I'll find a place for him to sit.
Yeah.
And lower himself into it.
So she'll say, "Would you?"
Wow.
And yeah, she'll just offer him some of her pie because she ordered a nice big slice.
He'll smile and he'll take a bite and chew it carefully. One thing she knows about him is he has very, very neat manners. He's not overly impeccable, but having to be in his position, he often has to present himself to the courts and to other courts, and so he just knows how to be polite, basically. But he'll smile at her and he'll say, "Tastes very good today."
I like coming here because she always makes it fresh.
He'll smile and nod at her. Do you like? Are you? He'll kind of think about it and he'll say, "Are you familiar with, or do you like the different goblin fruits, or are you an enthusiast?"
I'm not familiar with many of them, but they can be useful. And I'm learning about more.
I actually have one that is a bit rarer that I wanted to give you for helping me. He'll kind of he's got a bag with him, and he'll kind of fish.
Okay. Johnny, are you still there? Hello? Right. So this is great. I think we've lost Johnny. Dun, 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 dun. Dum, 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 dum. So, oh, yay, Johnny's back.
It was me that dropped. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so sorry about that. Let's present the same technical difficulty.
Yeah, he said he has an interesting fruit, and then he was reaching in his bag, and then you kind of stopped.
Yeah, he'll reach in his bag and he'll pull out a fruit that's wrapped in like a soft cloth to kind of protect it, and he'll hold it out to her.
And she'll take it and unwrap it slightly to look at it and smell it.
It smells minty, but it kind of almost with an earthy undertone. Its skin is a browny, kind of a green color. It has like a very airy looking stem, basically, and it has like very violet leaves, kind of curling from the stem that's coming from the fruit.
Okay.
It's a hybrid. I cross-pollinated a couple nettle and a pit moss, which means it's trenchment. At a game, it means it's a trenchment.
Interesting. Do you like God?
Oh, of course, yes. I'm a member of the Spring Court. Most of us have at least passing experience gardening. We have to keep the court gardens, going.
Yes, but not everyone is the same just because they're in the same court.
It's true, but yeah, I do. I picked up the hobby when I got back, when I returned. I didn't really have a chance to. I had a very unique endurance in that I was actually captured and brought back. I got out for a while. I was out for about about 20 years, and then this satyr named, he kind of rolls his eyes like he doesn't want to say this, but this satyr named Joey Tits got me back. He had me dragged back to the ferry, and so I did another turn, and I finally managed to break away and get out. Hopefully I don't end up back. I kind of almost says exasperated, just like,
I suppose everybody's durance is somewhat unique. And yet, they're all somewhat the same as well.
it's true. I just wanted to make my art. That's all I wanted. But I couldn't.
What do you make?
Oh, whatever my hands will craft. I do sculpting, painting, embroidering. I try mixed media. Welding and metalwork isn't really my thing. I can appreciate the art. I really can. But it's too aggressive, maybe? Is that the right word? It's very hard. It's a very strong art, you know?
She'll nod.
I prefer the more delicate arts. Jewelry making. I was a painter before I was taken, and a bit of a Renaissance man. Not to. He says that the problem is that when he was active, that term was more acceptable to declare yourself as, and he knows that it's a little rude nowadays to call yourself a Renaissance man. You know what I mean?
Well, it's more that it's been co-opted and means more than one thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, he means it in the literal discipline sense of it, in that he practices multiple disciplines of art.
Yep.
So that's what he's trying to say it as, but he kind of gives her a small, like, apologetic smile, in that, you know, he knows that it means something else, and he's not trying to humble brag. Basically, he just means he's a Renaissance man. But you do tapestries, right?
Not anymore. I make clothing and weave, but not tapestries.
Is it a sword? I hope I didn't offend you.
I made tapestries for a very long time.
The word going around the court, is that what that's what you do? I'm sorry, my information is wrong. So, what about you? What is your art now? You said weavings.
I do weave. I just don't make tapestries with it anymore. I've turned more clothing, bags, the small practical artworks.
That's understandable. So, what drew you to Hobkind? What drew you to? He'll kind of wave his hand at the market.
The wares. They're all so different, and yet they all make a certain amount of sense.
That's true. I think I spend way too much time in the market sometimes. They appointed me as emissary to the markets, but I think they only did it because they knew I was always out here.
Is that a bad thing?
Not to me. I think there's something about old men antiquing.
Not all the things here are antiques.
Very true. Very true. He'll just kind of breathe a sigh and take another bite of the pie. You want some hot chocolate?
Yes, I am almost out. It's very good here.
I think, I don't think I've been to this one, but it reminds me of another one.
She'll nod.
There's a place in the market that's close to Boston. It's a little bit like this. It has this homey kind of crystal cut glass, dark woods feel to it, you know?
She'll nod. I haven't been to many yet, but there's a pattern to them.
I'm going in about 2 weeks to foment a deal between opening a more steady and protected pathway between the main market and the main market of Boston. Would you like to go?
That would be nice. You can roll wits empathy if you want, but bear in mind that that there is a raised difficulty with polychromatics.
Oh, he's only got 9 dice, that's all.
Yeah, I'm just saying polychromatics all empathy rolls suffer a penalty of 1 dice.
Well, that would have taken off his 10, so...
taken off the 2, because that's the last. It would have taken off the 2 because it was the last one.
Okay, well then he had a 10, so he'll blow up. So hold on. He has 2 successes.
Okay. There is definitely a hesitance and an interest there, in that she's intrigued, but she's also concerned.
You notice his brow knit kind of softly, and he tilts his head looking at her, as though he's noticed her concern, and if she wants to express it or address it, he's listening.
She doesn't. She just kind of carries on.
Well, then Senpai notices your reluctance.
Yes. Notices the concern, partly because creepy people be creepy.
Yeah, he'll say,
she's like, I kind of want to go because it sounds really interesting, and he seems okay, but what if he's one of the creepy people and I just haven't noticed yet?
He'll to kind of relieve her fears as to what he believes it is. Being that he is an older man and she's a younger woman, it's kind of obvious to jump to the conclusion that it's something akin to that. Or even that he is a man and she's a woman. You know,
yeah.
He will say to her, "I only plan on it being a day trip. If it lasts longer, I can always help to cover separate accommodations in Boston." What he's doing is that he's clarifying that, you know what I'm saying? He's trying to calm her down, basically. You know what I'm saying? He's saying that he's happy that he understands that it might take longer than a day, and if it is, don't worry about having to pay for yourself. You know, since he invited you, he'll help you out.
Yeah, well, it's not the thing that's concerning her, but it seems to make her feel slightly better anyway.
I have a small stipend available to me from the courts for this sort of business.
That's probably helpful.
It comes in handy, yeah.
I need to see about trying to arrange myself a bit better when it comes to long-term issues. But then I've not been back for very long.
Well, how long have you been back?
A few weeks.
Oh, wow. I didn't know you were that... Oh, no, yeah. I haven't seen you. but I've been very busy lately. I'm sorry. He looks like, and this is why I'm out. My finger is so far from the pulse of society. Can I confide something in you?
Probably.
It's not something I would completely be heartbroken if it got out. It's just he kind of hesitates for a moment and he kind of as a person, okay? As as a as a man, I like King Ferran. I have no problem with him as a person, you know? But as a king, he'll kind of look around as though he doesn't want to be treasonous. As a king, he has shortcomings that are greatly concerning to me. You would know that as the High Cerys, he is essentially Ferran's counselor. Like, he's the one who essentially is his, like, vizier almost. You know what I mean?
Then isn't it your job to help him fix them?
Well, I have been. I've been doing what I can. It's just at what point are those shortcomings so significant that it endangers the court? You know what I mean?
Has he been planning on eating people?
No. What? He just what?
There was someone that was stalking me that was talking about eating people.
His brows go up.
She didn't seem to plan on eating me because I'm a woman. That didn't really make me feel too much better.
Such behavior is concerning. That sort of disconnect between the human mind and one of the law speaks to a stronger tie to the gentry.
Well, she's only just got back, so. And she's an elemental, so that might have something.
I try not to express bigoted behavior, but I understand what you're saying.
We all have our issues that make things more difficult.
It's true.
And it's true of the king as well. You know, he's going to have a few issues that he has to deal with, and I don't know if he'll be a good ruler or not. I don't really know him well enough, but if he's what you've got to work with, she's just going to shrug.
As I said, my concern lies with the court and the people. For instance, we haven't. Well, first off, the queen was murdered, and no one has looked into it. No one has. I've tried, but I keep coming to Stophold. Like, I can't. The main suspect is her lover, the former archive. When we try to track him, when we try to find him, we get pulled into all sorts of different directions. It's as though he's
Spring as well, right?
Huh?
He's Spring as well, right?
Yes.
So
but he's gone since that night.
Well, maybe you need someone who's not Spring to kind of look into things. Someone, well, not necessarily not Spring so much as who wasn't there and involved in things.
Are you volunteering?
No.
I didn't want to assume you were.
No, just sometimes when you're making something and it always keeps going wrong, you need someone else to look at it and see what it is that keeps making it go wrong.
Get an outside perspective.
Precisely.
That's a good point. But that's the sort of thing I'm talking about. The fact that this murder hasn't really been looked into. The fact that the archive has still sat open. The fact that there's no emissary to the Winter Court, which, my God, right now? If we had an archive and we had an emissary, the problems we're facing right now would be, it wouldn't be so much of a problem. But at the same time, it's also, to be honest, I've worked with and endured wars. Trust me. Alysanne was a interesting queen, to say the least. She was very concerned with a certain crowd in the court and tended to neglect others.
So if the tear's too big to sew it closed, you need a patch.
Well, what in this case would be a patch?
Well, if there's big oversights that you think he's making, maybe you should talk to him about someone that could cover those things. Someone he could delegate the things that he's not doing to.
Like a consort or a queen?
She shrugs. Possibly, or another advisor, or you could make up a specific title for it. It doesn't really matter. The point is that they get done.
With the problems he's been having with Princess Bella and her acting out because of his... Huh? He's noticed it twice now, and he'll tilt his head at her as though he's trying as politely as he humanly can to address that white elephant. He wants to know what to do to stop that.
Certain things remind me of things that were said a while ago.
Which part do I need to avoid?
There was a name that my keeper called me.
Which one? He's trying to be polite about it. He's trying to be like caring, but he needs an answer as to which one he needs to avoid.
Bella doesn't seem to be very bad. I haven't met her, so I don't know what she's like. Which is her way of saying it without saying what the actual problem word is.
He got it. Bella is a precious child, but she is coming into her summer. And Ferran has been very preoccupied. He used to spend all of his time with her. She had his full attention. Now she doesn't, and she has begun to act out. She's begun to... I don't have children. I don't...
Maybe she
I don't know. She's only 12.
Well, she doesn't have to help with all of it. Just something.
He'll chew his lip.
It doesn't even have to be one of the things that you've already thought of. Just something for her to do. something to give her a purpose.
He'll nod. As I said, I wish the best for him. I'd like to see him succeed in this role. He is a strong man, and he has a passionate heart. But he's, pardon my archaic form of speech here, he's ignorant. He meant that in the literal ignorant way. You know what I mean? He literally doesn't have, he's got an intelligence of 1.
Mm-hmm. As I said, you need a patch for the things that he can't do, for the gaps in his abilities. Is Bella smart?
She's... To put it in kind of a common term, B's and C's. She's savvy. She's a very canny child. Whatever her durance was, which she will not speak of, she was taken very young and only aged a few years in her durance. She returned very young. Bronn found her when she was 6. So he was able to provide her with some tutoring and education since becoming the princess. She's had, well, as you would say, at a patch.
Yeah. He's going to kind of wince slightly again.
He'll say, I'm sorry, I'll try. It's very hard for me not to. He'll kind of bite his lip. It's very clear he doesn't want to upset or hurt her. It's just very hard for him as Viserys not to refer to his princess as a princess.
Yep. Which is another reason why she's kind of suggesting that the princess might need a job, because then she'd have another title.
Yeah, he'll say, Bella is, as I said, a very canny child. She's a child and behaves as such, but she is smart. I was wondering something about your eyes. Are they always wet? Or is it something you can control?
Since I've returned, they've always been like this.
Well, nod.
Aside from rare occasions.
I'm sorry if that was a personal question.
No, there are rare occasions when they look a bit different, but they're always wet.
I had a strange dream last night, and when I woke up, I had a little purple spot under my eyes.
Did the dream upset you?
No. It was more a kind of thing. It was more curious. It's part of why I asked you to lunch, actually. I wanted to tell you about it because it involved you. I had a dream that I was holding a measure of water in my hands. It kept slipping out. It kept trickling between my fingertips, and you came and you cupped your hands under mine, and it trickled into your hands, but then it began to trickle between your fingertips. And so I did the same. I cupped my hands under yours, and the water trickled into mine, and it kept happening until you and I both erupted into laughter and just opened our palms and let the water fall. See? Very odd.
Zoro has a funny way of falling when you laugh.
I think sometimes dreams have meaning. You know what I mean? In that they're your mind trying to work out a way to square away with things or trying to process things. And I think the dream was just my mind's way of trying to process my reluctance to ask you to see me socially. I was hesitant about it. I didn't want you to think. As I said, I get out so rarely, I think sometimes people question my motivation for doing it. I haven't enjoyed pie and hot chocolate with someone in quite some time.
Sometimes I eat cake instead.
What's your favorite kind?
I like the chocolate cake when it has cinnamon and ginger in it.
Do you like to cook?
I don't really know how very well.
Really?
I was 12 when I was taken, and my parents cooked for me. And while I was gone, I was busy working and my food was provided.
Do you
Shrugs.
want to learn how?
It would be nice.
I have to go very soon. I've got an appointment at the courts. But tomorrow I'm free for a bit in the afternoon. Would you like to drop by the freehold and roll our sleeves up in the kitchen? Maybe make some cinnamon ginger cake?
That sounds good.
I'll smile at her. I'm glad I'm glad I relaxed, son. I'll kind of smile at her. Like, he's glad he relaxed on asking somebody to meet him up. Do you want to shop for a bit before we go?
Be careful though, because there have been some rather strange people that I have met since I came back.
You've from the little things you've mentioned, I've noticed. I've picked up on that. You met I can't say it out loud, but the one awaiting trial, and you've met a cannibal apparently, and me. Good poor thing. He'll kind of shake his head.
And she'll smile.
I'm gonna get a little bit of shopping done before I go back. Do you want to come with me?
She'll nod, and she'll finish her hot chocolate. I'm assuming the pie is already finished by now.
You want me to throw you some shops and actually do that, or do you just want to end the scene there?
Yeah, we may as well end the scene there. She's been to Goblin Markets before. She'll have a bit of wander around.
Okay.
If there's any cool stuff, there's usually cool stuff.
Yep. He'll buy a couple of things and make deals with a couple of things. One thing that you notice is that some of the Hobbs, when they look at him, for a brief moment, will take that shit Gendry, and then kind of relax, like, oh god, it's just him. Okay, good.
Yeah.
But as they're together and as they're doing stuff, I mean, he really, like, it's just one of those things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Whereas with me, it's kind of the opposite because of the Hobkin thing. They kind of tend to see me more as one of them slightly.
Yeah. But he'll wander around with her for a bit. If she wants, he'll escort her back to the courts or to the city, or he'll part ways with her before he leaves, and he'll say, well, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
I look forward to it as well. And yeah, she'll probably part ways at the market because right now she's a bit wary of people trying to follow her home.
Mm-hmm. So he'll give her a polite wave goodbye, and he'll see himself out of the markets.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, we can end our scene.
Yep.
Thank you, players, for playing, and thank you, watchers, for watching. Bye!
Bye!